So even now, as I go to record these, even now I'm don't try. I'm trying too hard. Um, Even when I say a word like I'm like, oh, should I have not have said. That's trying too hard. So this is a habit I'm trying to break. Even as I make this audio, like, who's this for? Is it for you? Is it for me? Is it for competitors? Is it for the casual listener? Oh, so what do I say? Who do I tailor this to? Maybe I need to stop worrying about all that and just act instinctively. They say people like, I don't know about you, but like whenever I've been in the zone, it's been acting instinctively. Like when I catch the ball and like if it's basketball, I catch and shoot and don't think about it too much. It's like when you stop and think about it, doubt can start to creep in and your fears can start. It gives you time to think about your fears. Kind of like shooting a free throw. They call it icing the player, where the opposing coach will call a timeout, and it just gives the person shooting the free throw time for doubts to set in. Probably a good tactic. I bet you if you were to look at some statistics of how much that can lower someone's free throw percentage. I'm curious. I think that it's got to affect it to some extent. So, to talk about Lanny Bassham again, I've talked about this man in the past on this channel. This man won, I believe, some medals for the Olympics. He was the top of his class in his field, and his field was shooting guns. Last time we talked about visualization and how he used that as a tool. In fact, he didn't have access to a shooting range for like 2 years. So all he did was visualize for 2 years. Visualize shooting. Then he goes to the Olympics and wins like the silver. Well, if you listen to some of his podcasts, feel free to turn mine off. I don't care. I'm not here for. I don't care. I mean, maybe if I guide you to what you need to learn, you'll come back to me again for that more guidance on what you need to learn. So you can hear it from me or you can hear it from him. But what he said, this last thing I learned from him, that it's been very effective for me this week, and it's don't try too hard. So he was struggling in his field. He was never an elite competitor. He was always good, but not elite. And he's like, fuck, I need to change something. Blah, blah, blah. The definition of madness is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Blah, blah, blah. That old saying. Well, in his case, he was trying real hard. He was putting in the work, but wasn't seeing the results. So he's like, fuck, I need to make a big change. And I forgot how he came to the conclusion, but eventually he stopped trying so hard. And everything started to fall into place. And there's a lot of negative effects for trying too hard. After this week of evaluating, it's been like a week, about a week now. I've been trying less hard and evaluating myself. And it's been working. I've had good success doing it. And some of the kind of the conclusions I've drawn from this experiment was that when you try too hard, you're kind of afraid to take risks. When you think too much, when you try so hard and you're trying to think too much instead of just act on instinct, you think about fears and doubts, and those things can set in. On a little side note tangent, if you're trying too hard, if you are trying hard, I think you can learn more than acting on instinct because you're thinking deeply about possible outcomes, I guess. Um, but perhaps learning, game time is perhaps not the time for learning. Post game analysis maybe is the time to review or play and learn. Game time is for winning, perhaps. Maybe that's something I should continue to study down the road. So for my whole competitive life, not my whole competitive life, I'd say since 2010 is when I started kind of living by this motto. And it's not how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep standing up, keep moving forward. The old Rocky quote, right? I guess it's not that old. I think it's from one of the newer movies. It's a great quote because especially in tournament poker, so many players lose equity because they're like, fuck, I got 4 big blinds left. Fuck it. I'm just going to go all in with whatever hand and go to the movies with my girlfriend or whatever the case is. And that's where I tried to get an edge against people, was like, never say die kind of a thing. Like every time I got knocked down, I would instantly pop back up. So my new motto, and I came up with this week, and you know what? I don't think anybody's ever said this before, so I'm going to take credit for coining it. And it's try 80%, 100% of the time. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory what I mean. Like again, don't try too hard. Don't give 110% because that's when negative effects start to creep in. Give it about 80, 90%, 100% of the time. The whole game, every game for the rest of your life. 100% of the time. Never bring your C game. Never. So I kind of came to this realization when I was playing well all week, and then one day I was just like, I just fired up a couple tournaments and just bled it. Like by bleh, I mean bleh, bleh. It was like just dragging ass, competitively speaking. I don't know if you ever go to the gym and you just feel like dragging your ass around the gym. You're not really putting in any intensity whatsoever. So I'd say that day, instead of bringing 80%, I brought 70%. Wrong. That's not the motto. So again, try 80% effort. Let's rephrase this. 80% effort, 100% of the time. And I'll give a few examples of athletes that I think are like this. Tim Duncan is the perfect example of this, in my opinion. Kawhi Leonard, perfect example of this, in my opinion. I guess those are both Spurs, but I'm sure they probably have gone by this motto before. I haven't really stopped to think about this actually offhand. Is there anybody else I could think that is super consistent, but not like super intense? Steph Curry. I've seen Steph Curry choke before, and it looked like he was giving 110%. And yeah, that's just an observation. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But he usually is about 80% effort, 100% of the time. It's pretty consistent, right? Now, again, is learn from my mistakes. It's easy to get carried away with this and bring your C game, or I should say, bring your C effort. So don't forget that second part. 100% of the time. Now, consistency is one of the hardest things in life. It really is. It's just something I've struggled with my whole life, whether it be dieting, exercise, competition, effort, whatever it is. Consistency is so, so hard. And if you guys have any advice for me on how to be more consistent in life, I've got some advice for you and something that I've learned on how to be more consistent. And the gym helps. Having a good routine, going to the gym every day, and having that as part of your routine is like a snowball that other routines follow. And what is consistency if not a routine? All right. I guess that's it for today. Bye.